They were 10, 7, and 6 years old. Of course, they can stay in a house by themselves. Are you dumb? This is the mentality that they want us to believe that the Pontiac, Michigan mom had when she left her children in the house for about 4 to 5 years. I'm going to tell you where she's been. I'm going to show you. But I'm also going to give you the story from the beginning because sometimes you get the information, but not the facts. So, first, let's go to 2021. It is believed between the year of 20 to 21 that this Michigan mom, I actually have her name, but I'm going to tell you why I'm not going to give it to you right now, left her children in a home in Pontiac for 4 to 5 years. The reason why they got this was the boy, which is the son. First of all, there were 3 kids, a son and 2 girls. The boy, who was the oldest, told the authorities that he and his sisters had been living alone at the home since 20 or 21. He's not really sure on the exact time frame. After all, he is a child. But this is on the 600 block of Lydia Lane. Now, at this time, as I've mentioned, the children were between 10, 7, and 6 years old. When you think about that, it's like, what are we doing? But I'm going to give you more information, but let me cook. Just want to make sure we got the facts first. Now, the first thing I'm thinking, in addition to what would make this mother leave her children in the house alone, is where's the father? The mother went on record recently saying that the father was nowhere in the picture. I wonder if we gave them the same hell that we gave the mothers, how different things would be. But the father's not in the picture in case anybody is wondering. Now, 4 to 5 years, apparently all of this time, the rent has been paid, there is no problem. But in October of 2024, the landlord ended up calling the authorities because he hadn't gotten his rent. I don't know what happened all of the other years. It appears that had it not been a problem with the rent, then it would not have been a problem with these babies staying in the house by themselves. But let me pause. NBC News report that the kids, while they were in this place for all of this time, were sleeping on pizza boxes. So the girls were sleeping on pizza boxes, and the boy was sleeping on the only mattress that he could see in the house. Okay? Now, on February 14th, 2025, Oakland County Sheriff's deputies found the 3 children. The boy now is age 15, and his 2 sisters, 12 and 13, living alone. Again, had the rent not been paid, y'all, we probably wouldn't even have heard from this story for another 2-3 years. And I would hate to think what that may look like. Now, when they went into the home, this place was so terrible. I mean, terrible, that it had trash up to 4 feet tall. There was feces all over the place. It just was not habitable at all. And they were surprised that mold covered surfaces, human waste was everywhere. It was reported later that the children didn't even know how to use the toilet. They didn't even know how to use the facility because it was not working. This went on for the 4 to 5 years. The bathroom was in complete squalor. It just looked bad. It smelled bad. It was so terrible that they actually had to go in with hazmat suits for fear of catching something in the air. You may be wondering, how did the baby survive this long? Well, ABC News says that the woman, the mother, her name is not going to be mentioned because one of the children, believe the girls, has the exact same name as her. Could be the boy too, actually. I ain't gonna give y'all too much, but one of the girls or one of the children had the same name. But ABC News reports that the children were getting at least weekly deliveries. And if you're wondering how they were, somehow, definitely by the grace of God, the children were in good health. Now, they're going to have to work out some things with mental issues and stuff like that, but the children appeared to be in good health. But the mother and or somebody else would make weekly, if not a couple times during the week, food deliveries. And they would leave the food on the porch. And it's believed that the son would grab the food and feed his siblings. Now, it is also reported that the girls had not left the house at all, and none of them had been to school since they had been living in this apartment alone for the 4 to 5 years. This is the mother. Again, the ABC News will not release her name at this time. We're saying they're not releasing her name at this time because of the children, but y'all release every damn thing else. Just tell us what we need to know. I have the name, found it, just like a lot of other people, but we're gonna digress. But now, before I tell you and show you where she's been, I want to show you what I would do if I was this type of person. Like, what psychology should you have or could you have had to even begin to do something like this? Why? Because I want this shit to stop. We got to start recognizing what is going on in our communities. And what better way of doing that than by identifying it? Really quickly, my name is T Styles. I have been writing and making monsters in my books for over 20 years. Just so happened that this book and that book, both of these books were dealing with children being left in the house by themselves and being in the most horrendous conditions. When I say I built my career on this, I'm telling you I've built my career on it, because I know what other people don't know is that monsters are community made. They are not born. So let me get into what would cause a woman like this to leave her children in the house as long as she did. Now, I want to preface this by saying this is for entertainment purposes only. If you look more into that, you may get in trouble. But because I have built my career creating monsters like this, I'm going to go into what kind of person this could possibly be to be able to leave their children in the house by themselves that long. This person would have to have had any number of these. First, some kind of personality disorder. You gotta have some kind of personality disorder. Toy, ain't nobody trying to hear that. Listen, ask yourself if you could do it. If the answer is no, then what would make somebody be able to do it if you couldn't? Something has to be off. It doesn't mean that we excuse it. There could possibly be for the streets, but maybe we can detect things in our cousins and our mothers and our nieces or whatever that will prevent things from going this far. Because if you ask me, and I hope you ask me, if you ask me, people, family members, neighbors, for 4 to 5 years should have seen a lot. I can tell you everything that go on in my neighborhood. You didn't see anything at this time? Personality disorder. Now, I'm talking about, there are certain personality disorders like antisocial personality disorders, narcissistic personality disorders that could lead to lack of empathy or disregard for well-being of others, including your own children. Now, this narcissistic one, when I'm creating this type of character, is the absolute worst out of all of them. It'll be better if you have almost any other illness than this one, because narcissists have ruined the world. They have done more damage than what's humanly possible, meaning that they have had people take themselves out. They have caused people to lose everything that they have built. These are some of the most craziest people. Not saying that she is, but this personality of being a narcissist or one of these personality disorders could absolutely lead a person to leave their children in the house by themselves. Financial hardships. If she was in some kind of poverty, or if she wasn't able to make ends meet, sometimes you do things that you think you need to. If I don't really feel like, if I'm writing this character, this would not be the only reason, because if I got financial hardships, I'm going to make sure I come in, if I'm financially hard, and at the very least come home at night and cook my baby some food and then going back out there. If I'm selling a little tuk-tuk or what have you, going out there and then come back. But this, in combination with some other things, could have possibly have led her to be this kind of person if I'm creating this monster. Cultural or societal pressures. In some instances, social stigmas, expectations, a fear of judgment might prevent somebody from asking for help. Black people, women sometimes don't like to ask for help. Does not mean it need to be this far. I'm not saying it needs to be this far. But what I'm saying is not asking for help when you really need it has done more to set us back than necessary. I ask for help for everything now. And I'm one of the strongest bitches y'all probably know. But this could definitely lead not to that level. This alone could not be that level, because not asking for help can possibly lead to giving up. But 4 or 5 years is too long. Substance abuse, addictions to some type of drug or alcohol, a mother struggling to make things work or ends meet, could definitely not be thinking straight. The thing that I have with this though is the rent was paid all the way up until October. Normally when the substance is that bad, I'm not paying for nothing. If I'm writing a character, you're not paying for nothing. And them children would have been found out a long time ago. Now I'm gonna show y'all where she's been. But really quickly, I'm tired of us getting hit and getting mad and not talking about what's the plan. They want you to believe that certain women are just done. Black women, I'm tired of hearing it. I see it all day long. I'm tired of hearing it. They bad mothers. They're gonna stay bad mothers. They bad people. That all may be true, right? But it doesn't mean that something can't be done for others. It doesn't mean that we can't help ourselves at the very least. First thing I'm gonna say is when I ask what we gonna do, y'all, this is the what we gonna do, y'all section, is protection. Put something on. Don't let these men or whoever get up in your ear telling you it feels so good, I don't want to come out, and now you're stuck with something that you cannot handle. You know, haven't, and especially now, honey, because depending upon where you are, and it could be for all of us soon, you may not even be able to go on down there and see the man if you have to, if that's your prerogative. I ain't say what you believe in is what you believe in, but that might not even be an option. So making sure that you protect yourself, even if they don't, is one of the things that we can do to prevent mothers from going this far down a hole. Get your community together. Keep your friends. Some of y'all ain't got no friends. You ain't got nobody they can talk to, nobody that you can lean on. I'm talking about real ones, not the ones that just be going out with the club and all that. We don't care about them. Get your friends and make sure you keep that tight. This is something else that we can do. Ask for help. I even seen people that need help ask for help on TikTok and came through. You'll be surprised when people know you need help, them coming through. Couple $5 here, couple $2 there, $3 there. Get some therapy. I want to recommend a book, and I'm going to be talking about this a lot on my channel, called You Can Heal Your Life. I was one of the worst cases of depressed that you can think of. I didn't care about a lot, didn't care who, what, went to the darkest depths of depression. And that book was one of the things that saved me. So I'm going to show you really quickly, and this is going to piss a lot of y'all off, where we find her and where she's been. You ain't going to like it, but I got to show you. Now, this is the part that's going to piss y'all off. When I researched her to try to find out where she is, let's say she has all the things that I said when I'm making a monster. It appears from this that she is living her best life. I found her page. She's put up a couple pictures of herself like this one. Her profile is locked, I'm sure with good reason, but she just appears to be updating. Like this says on June 5th of last year. At first, I thought this was January, but she's just putting stuff up. Like you would never know, this is really gonna piss y'all off. You would never know that she had 3 babies. It doesn't mean that something is not wrong with this person, and it does not mean that, you know, all of the mental things that I talked about is not still a factor. But what it does mean is that on the outside, if something is going on, you would never know. As a matter of fact, they did say that one of the reasons, outside of one of the children having the same name as her, not wanting to release her name, is because they are also trying to check her out for psychiatric issues. Like you almost have to be partially crazy or mentally insane to be able to do that. You have to be. You do it? I can't do it. So you'll see these pictures, and this one is gonna look bad, like with that. Or I know that's gonna piss y'all off. You're gonna say, "T, all this stuff you just said, it doesn't matter." It does not matter what is presented on the outside. Let me turn that down right now. It does not matter what's presented on the outside. People are so concerned with the outside that they believe things that they see on social media more than they believe anything else. They honestly believe these fake relationships. They believe that people have these bigger lifestyles than they have. This woman had 3 children at home, and it appears that she's out here living her best life. This video, she was doing showing some kind of free food giveaway on her channel, which is quite odd. Some kind of free food. And then I went on her page to actually see some of the comments. Again, her page is not public. But in December, she appears to be living her life and moving on with her life. When you have a dog that is rabid, a dog that is vicious, you don't give the dog the baby's head. You still get rid of the dog. But it doesn't mean that something did not happen to this dog. It does not mean that this dog may not have been abused or this dog may not have been fed. They always say that you can tell how good a dog is based off of how the training that its owner gives. There is has to be something wrong with her in order to be able to do this. She's going to get her time, deserves her time. But what are we going to do in the future? Folks online want us to throw away the entire Black female population instead of getting folks help. It is impossible for you to tell me that something is not going on with this person. I'm not going to believe it. No pass is given. Give her time. But what about the other people, the other women that were neglected or ignored? What about the children that you probably walk past and don't say anything to? What about your nieces and your nephews? Have you talked to them and see how they're doing? This is a community issue. Had more people gotten involved, had more people spoke up and cared, we would not be talking about this story.